Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days. So, just finished watching Raw this week and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it. I think the biggest difference is the fact that the matches actually mean something. For too long, we were getting Stardust going up against Titus O'Neil in a match that meant absolutely nothing. And wasn't for anything and wasn't really because of anything, and whereas now we're getting, well, I mean the matches we're getting now, even there, like, you know, they could headline pay-per-views, you know, I mean AJ Styles against Kevin Owens, absolutely stunning. I mean The Miz against Cesaro, that'll be on a pay-per-view, might not headline a pay-per-view, but that's certainly, you know, that's a feud that's been building for a long time, and finally we get a match with a clean finish on Raw. It's fantastic, but it does worry me because what are they going to have for pay-per-views? You're going to end up with just having a load of matches that you will have seen on Raw or could potentially see on Raw, and then just a really great main event. Are we saying that's what the pay-per-views in the future are going to be like? Look, I'm going to enjoy it whilst it's happening, and I thought this was a fantastic Raw, but I do worry about the future. So, starts off with Seth. Obviously knew it was going to start with Seth. The new one-toned hair colour Seth. There's no more blonde streaks in his hair. He's all black hair now. He's got his new shirt on as well. I thought that the promo he cut was brilliant, but wrong, because they have an opportunity to turn Seth face now. You know, the pop that Seth is getting, the support that Seth is getting. If he was to just show just a little bit of love back to the audience, mega stardom. I mean, not that he's, you know, not on his way to mega stardom, but we find ourselves in this very bizarre situation now where Seth is cutting heel promos and he's going up against a face Roman Reigns that very few people want to cheer. So you've got to think about Seth Rollins' career, you've got to think about his development. You know, he had a lot of goodwill behind him from the audience, and then he's coming out saying that everything he did on his own. There's only room for one on the Rollins bandwagon, and that's him. Saying that he worked harder coming back from his rehabilitation, harder work than anyone has ever put in that was in the crowd. You know, it was a good heel promo, but I just think that the message was wrong. What it did actually was it made me go, do you know what, I'm an even bigger Seth Rollins fan now, because clearly WWE do not want me to support Seth. So what am I going to do? I'm going to support Seth. So T-shirt is ordered, on the way. I am fully on board the Seth Rollins bandwagon. Even if there is only room for one, I'll just be running behind it, waving if he looks in my direction. Obviously Roman comes out and there's a bit of a stare down and whatnot, but Shane came out, made the main event match as we said, so it's Rollins against Reigns for the WWE title. My concern is that I don't see Seth winning this because the rumours say it's Cena against Reigns at SummerSlam, so that means that Seth's going to either be cheated out of the title or worse, he's going to lose clean, and I wouldn't put that past WWE because they are desperately trying to get Roman Reigns over. Bottom line, fantastic to have him back. A main event star has re-emerged, and wow, just, you know, from the get-go, it made this Raw even more exciting, so loving it. First match was Money in the Bank qualifying match, Sami Zayn against Sheamus. I thought Sheamus cut a decent promo backstage with Renee Young. It was a decent match, really. It was the bro kick against the Helluva kick, and Helluva won. So Sami Zayn progresses. Thought it was really interesting, like the mini breakdown that Sheamus had after the match. Camera panned in on him, and I think the commentators were saying about how, you know, Sheamus really now, you know, was winning it last year and he's not even in it this year, and they kept repeating that, and you could see that the tension was building. I didn't know if he was just going to walk away. I didn't know if Sheamus was done, or if something like that was going to happen. What actually happens is he beats up on Apollo Crews. We're clearly building towards a Sheamus Apollo Crews feud. New Day came out next, celebrating the fact that it was the 1200th episode of Raw. They had a birthday cake in the ring, and they ended up getting jumped from behind from the Social Outcasts. It's kind of nice to see the Social Outcasts go back to what I was saying at the start, you know, use some people you don't see on pay-per-views. It just keeps Raw fresh. You know, don't want to see the same faces. Don't want to see Kevin Owens every single week and then on every single pay-per-view. I don't want to see Sami Zayn all the time. You've got to keep these performers special, and you've got to keep the matches fresh. And so it was good to see the Social Outcasts. They jumped New Day, and then there was an okay match, and it was a 3-on-3. Obviously, New Day getting the better, and then they end up putting the cake in Heath Slater's face. It was what it was. You know, the promo from New Day beforehand was pretty decent. It was, you know, fun as always. Miz Cesaro is a feud that's been going for a long time, so to get a match just on Raw was a little bizarre, but it was welcome. And, you know, there was some really good spots in this. Miz went up to the top rope as he jumped off. Uppercut from Cesaro. Into a neutralizer, 1, 2, 3, Cesaro progresses, and fingers crossed stands a big chance of winning that Money in the Bank. Miz, he didn't need the victory. He's got Maurice, and he's got the Intercontinental title. He's fine. Interesting little bit backstage where Seth turns to Rollins and says, you know, Rollins is like, oh, I've been away, it's fantastic to see you. And Seth goes, things have changed since you've been gone. You know, our business relationship's different now. It's good to have you back. Puts her hand out, shakes his hand. So it is different. You know, you think about Steph and Triple H and J&J Security. I'd love to see J&J Security come back. That'd be fantastic. But they're not needed. And, you know, Seth doesn't need that authority behind him anymore. If anything, that was the big problem last year. That was what was keeping him back. Now is Seth frickin' Rollins. Another qualifying match, Jericho against Crews. Jericho having obviously plasters all over him, which is no great surprise considering what he went through at Extreme Rules. Crews was feeling pretty beat up after being jumped by Sheamus. But this was a good match, no interference. I thought Sheamus might interfere, he didn't. And so, you know, I mean, Crews got out of the walls of Jericho, but couldn't escape a code breaker. 1, 2, 3, Jericho picks up the surprise victory. Make Darren Young great again. I mean, I don't really remember the first time Darren Young was great, but I certainly don't hate on Darren Young. I was a Primetime Players fan, for example. But I love these promos. I love them because the passion that Bob Backlund has got when he's talking and is, you know, like shouting at Darren Young and everything. He shows more passion than 99.9% of the roster. You know, Bob Backlund can talk. I loved it. Even though, like, some of the stuff that was being said was waffle. You know, whoever's writing that needs to do a better job. I don't think Backlund's just coming out with this stuff. I'm pretty sure they give him a script. Little backstage segment next with Corbin and Ziggler. Ziggler with the line of the night. Ziggler said, how about we talk about something you can't do, like appear on breaking ground without looking like a tool. Brilliant. Because Corbin did look like a tool on breaking ground. Looked like a right arrogant so-and-so. So, match is made. I think it's for next week. Straight up wrestling match. Corbin against Ziggler. Hopefully we can kind of blow off this feud and move forward. But Corbin should be getting the better of that. Next up we got Big Cass coming out and the surprise return of Enzo Amore. Now, got a slight problem with this. Passion can normally hit the mark with his promos. He didn't do it for me on this one. A lot of stuff he was coming out with and just going, what? You know, it's like he said that a concussion was like a big sneeze, and I can't even really remember anything else he was saying. Not hating on Enzo, love Enzo Amore, massive talent. As I said, can hit the mark a lot of the time, but for his big return, this just fell a bit flat for me. So the match was made anyway. It was Big Cass against Bubba. Really disappointed that Bubba didn't go over on this, because if you think about Bubba when he was in TNA as Bully Ray, you know, he was like world champion. What's wrong with Big Cass just falling just short? You know, what's wrong with that? Nothing. Next up, we get a killer promo. Loved this promo from Charlotte, but it was a bit too long. Didn't see it coming, but she ends up getting rid of Ric Flair. She's got Dana Brooke now, so she doesn't really need a dad. Plus also it means all of that, you just living off your dad's name, will not go away but settle down. She can show, you know, she could always do it in the ring. She really doesn't need Rick, but she didn't have to go about it this way. I mean, Ric Flair in tears. Well, it was uncomfortable, wasn't it? I was thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if he rocks up, right, and goes, Charlotte, I love you. I will always love you. And so I've found somebody that, you know, believes in love. Someone that can give you a hug from me. Bang, out comes Bayley. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that. That would be a hell of a way to get Bayley onto the main roster. I stand by the fact that Charlotte's a fantastic champion and I enjoy watching her, so I'm fully on board with all of this, but I don't disagree, the promo was a touch too long. Next we had Ambrose against Ziggler in another qualifying match, and it was good. Again, no interference, clean. Dirty Deeds victory for Dean Ambrose, and that puts him in the Money in the Bank match. Don't want Ambrose to win it because I think he will have title matches in the future anyway. You know, I mean, you've got two guys from the Shield competing for the title. Somehow the third guy from the Shield will find his way into that title picture. He doesn't need Money in the Bank. Then we get another promo, this time from AJ Styles, where he says to Gallows and Anderson, we're through, we're done, get out of my ring. Everyone is going, Balor Club, Balor Club, Balor Club's coming, Balor Club. And yeah, maybe Balor Club. Imagine if Gallows and Anderson re-emerge with a new leader, Finn Balor. But do you really want Balor to come up as a heel? AJ, obviously on his own in the main event. Fantastic main event match with Kevin Owens. But did you expect anything else? Trash talking Owens was with Michael Cole, as he always does. Really entertaining, loads of great spots, everything you'd imagine, but bottom line is KO picks up the victory, and so the show ends. So KO goes into it. So now we've got 5 qualifiers. We've got Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dean Ambrose, Jericho and Cesaro. So there's 2 more to be added. That's a good pack. I'm into that. Main event set as well. Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns. Pretty sure we're going to have Enzo and Big Cass against Dudley's. Don't know what we're building for when it comes to the women's title. Natalya, Charlotte again? I don't think so. Just because there was no Natalya on this week's Raw. And it would feel like the right time to have someone else come forward and, you know, get a title shot. So, not sure where we're heading to with the women's title. I should imagine it'll be Cena against Rusev for the US title. Intercontinental title, don't know. I mean, it won't be Cesaro, because obviously he's in the Money in the Bank, so Miz is going to need a new challenger. Maybe Zack Ryder? I have to see. Maybe the winner of Ziggler-Corbin gets an Intercontinental title match. It's really exciting. Bottom line is, it's really, really exciting. Could be on the verge of Balor getting his call up. We're definitely on the verge of someone winning Money in the Bank, which is always, you know, exciting because you never know when they're going to cash it in, and they tend to tease it. Rollins is back. Fully on board, man. Fully on board. This is one of the most exciting times in WWE in recent memory. I'm absolutely loving it. Can't wait for next week. So, well done, WWE. Cool. Hope you enjoyed Raw. I would give it roughly a solid 8 out of 10. So let me know on Twitter. You can follow me at Wrestling Days UK. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, it'd be brilliant if you did, because you know you've got so much coming, so much to look forward to. So it'd be great if you subscribed if you haven't. And hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.